We were in the town of Aria and got to confront G, an old friend of a week ago, a tattooed dwarf. He let us know the kind deeds of the Lloyds have made them a target for active and despicable agents around the world. G also revealed he knows the one known as Friend Courtney, the strange wizard that the party's been dealing with the last two sessions. But G revealed that he knew this person as the Wizard Cornelius. He then began to refer to them as the Wizard Cor. Um, G would join the party in confronting this wizard to get a little bit more info. So when they went into the Kettle Inn, G bought out the entire bar, kitchen, and every room, and the owner, proprietor's daughter, escorted everyone out of the bar and is now holding the door shut while they hold conference inside. Courtney, aka Wizard, aka Cornelius, was definitely afraid of G and did not like that he was there. But a small council was definitely held to figure out some more information. Um, Before returning the orb, it was advised that the wizard had a knack for finding things, and the more magic they use, the shorter their time is on this world. They also found out that the wizard can't actually bring back their friend Cassilian, who disappeared, but can only give him a marker to return to rather than popping up somewhere in the middle of an ocean. So there were more complications to this deal than what was expected. But before all of these could be completely hashed out, the rune was under progress, and then there was a tapping at the window where we got to meet Ghost. Ghost Rising is an orange round tabaxi who very much recognized Hunted Jewel and vice versa. Was escorted into the bar and a nice little get together was had. He got some humble brags about how Hunted Jewel has felled so many opponents and is proud of his former traveling companion. But he also eked out that sleazy car salesman type of vibe. It's a bit strange, but his traveling ways came about, and that transitioned over to the Broven house, where Rowena got a sword, Ghost Rising got a plethora of things, and a little bit more information about magic, and more importantly, the eco control orbs was distilled out. So, going back to the bar, trying to figure out all of this stuff, there are many, many complications, and I definitely lost my place in my recap. We get back in, the rune is done, and a spell is offered to HJ so that we can find the cabbage cactus that was revealed to him in a vision that could cure his elder. And so a vision sort of quest, an astral projection was done between Wizard Cor and Hunted Jewel, and it whisked them away to Fallen Scale, following the roads, and then whisked them out of town to a farm on top of a plateau that was growing round cactus. And then in the back, there was a particular cactus covered in fences, surrounded by traps, that had a faint scream of agony coming from it that was overseen by two elves in a window in the single barn house atop the plateau. It was strange, but we knew the exact location of a key ingredient. Going back to the bar, we wrote it down on a map. A sketch was given by the Wizard Cor, and a little bit more info. This wasn't just an illness, this was a curse. And as these things ripened to maturity, it drained the life force of whoever the victim was. And finding out that the other piece was coral, well, that means it's the most vile version of this curse, for coral would mature at the longest rate, which means the most suffering would take place before death. It was a bit of a shocker, and it was enough for Rowena to give Ghost a bit of a shakedown, make him tell the truth, as she asked, to Hunted Jewel, for he couldn't believe that this could happen to his elder. They were making their way upstairs to have a family chat. Wizard Cor expended the rest of their magic in order to return home, and G and Rowena were left bewildered and trying to figure out what to do next. And then we also got a preview of where Cassilian's been, floating in a nether with a halfling at the opposite angle to him, also floating about 6 inches away, very excitedly. Hi, I'm Gary. So we have the party waiting to find out what will happen when Wizard Cor, aka friend Courtney, aka Cornelius, returns in just 6 weeks. Did I miss anything? Anything you want to add? I think I got a lot of it. I also thought I'd forget more things, so it was long-winded.
I mean, you caught all the stuff that I missed in the pre-game recap, so
Let's
yeah, I
go.
think we're good.
Let's go. All right, then. I'm a little parched, but now we can jump into it. Thank you all for being here, and let's get started.
But if I'm going to bargain, I'll take their lies and their secrets down with me.
A chosen champion of the gods.
Better remember the name Hunted Jewel, because the next time you see me, I'm going to be buying out the whole bar. Welcome to the Tale of 11 Fates.
And welcome back. Yes, we're here in 11 Fates, and we join 2 of our members in Aria in the Kettle Inn as Hunted Jewel and Ghost Rising walk upstairs to a private room. Discussion's about to be had, and the door closes softly behind Ghost. His smiling grin and broad shoulders both slouch a bit as he gets a little bit more comfortable now that it's just family behind closed doors. He turns around and just kind of measures you up, Jewel. Kind of just straightens your shirt a little bit. How are the boots treating you?
And Jules kind of hits his hand off. What's with the used wagon salesman vibe?
It's a thing I do when I'm out on the road. It helps sales and things. It's
like is this you?
No. Oh God, no. I really miss home when I'm out on the road, and I found it easier a couple years ago to just kind of be a character when I'm out and about. So that way, when I've got my private time, I can just think about home a little bit, and the family and all the work that that version of me did in order to just kind of be out a little longer.
What do you mean, that version of you? What kind just of other work?
The car salesman-y guy. The guy's always trying to make a deal. Like, I was throwing up a big hubbub outside because I was like, oh, cool, there's a giant gathering of people. That means possible customers. Oh, how do I look important here? Let's look inside. Why is there a private event in one of the smallest towns on our continent? And I saw you in there. So I don't know, took it as an opportunity, get in with the VIP. I didn't realize you had that clout, but you said so yourself. You'd be buying the next round, and you did. Honestly, it took me years to do what I wanted to do, and you're weeks into your journey? I'm flabbergasted. So I don't know. Tell me about it. Tell me about your times.
No, I wanted to buy Ghost Rising a beer. I wanted to buy the person that first told me that I didn't have to hold my hands as fists if I was making a punch.
Useful, but yeah, we've got these sharp little claws for a reason, and yeah, I know. Yeah, I remember that too, and I don't know. I gotta just. It helps me to kind of do that person when it's not home. So I'm sorry that honestly you had to see it. It's cheesy. It's a little sleazy. Feels a little greasy. Not a big fan of it, but it gets results. That's who people think they want to buy from. So you just kind of curve into it.
And so who am I going to be talking to when you tell me the truth?
You're talking to family. You are talking to the guy who showed you how to tie those boots and told you that you're not going to get very far without him. The guy who, taught you how to throw a punch. The guy who taught you how to put up a tent. The guy who taught you how to, check your food before eating it. Yeah, this is family. I'm gonna take care of you as best I can. I'm invested in you. I want you to succeed. I want you to be the person I can't be. I've got a job to do, and the way I do it doesn't feel good. But the stuff you're doing sounds amazing. And like you're helping people. Elementals, I hear they go rogue all the time, and then I've got to like change my routes, and you're out there kicking their butts. I couldn't do that. Well, I wouldn't want to do that. Maybe I could. I probably could. I could take you. And he like goes in for like a little jab and stuff.
And HJ kind of just like lets it happen, doesn't break eye contact. He's still just kind of feeling sad about this whole thing. Look, I've been doing the things that I'm doing because I like thought I could make a difference. I just feel like I'm maybe helping someone who might not need to be helped, shouldn't be helped. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore.
Hey, you're helping out the clan and the hunt. You are helping. I mean, I haven't heard of anyone actually getting even a sliver of the knowledge you have about a cure. That's incredible. We've had dozens of wizards come through. We've tried hundreds of medicines, and you've suddenly cracked this thing wide open. I mean, a golden goose chase was started in hopes that we would try and find a cure, and it sounds like you're the only one that might actually have a shot at it now. And you should help. It's not just going to help our elder, it helps the family. It helps our image. It helps everything. I mean, isn't it good to save a life?
I feel like at this point I'm helping somebody else's family. I feel like I don't even know you anymore.
Yeah. Honestly, that's kind of how I've tried to present it when I'm out on the road. It's easier to keep people at arm's distance. And I don't want you at arm's distance, though. You're family. The world sucks. I don't know how to tell it any more clear. But people like you make it better. And I've always seen that. That's one of the reasons why I hang out with you so much. Like, I don't know. Well, growing up, you made a lot of things fun.
So what kind of person are you then?
I contribute the way I can and the way I'm supposed to. I'm duty bound. You know that. I mean, the amount of times your mom yelled at me to go fetch you for dinner, and then we snuck out and did stuff. But we, I had to do the things for the family, and it's a lot of having to do things for the family. And like, I'm good at trading. I'm good at working with people on the road. I'm good at transporting. I don't know. Not my greatest passion.
Oh, right.
But I think my greatest passion is when I think I get to have my own family. See, I can go be myself.
But wait, no, I knew all that. I knew all that. That's not anything that I didn't know. That's not. I mean, like
that's
sure,
the me.
Sure, that's the truth. But what is the truth? When you said that, when you were talking to Rowena, there was a different person in those eyes.
How big's the clan?
It's big.
How big's the hunt?
Big.
We got a lot of things going on, and I don't know about all of them. I know about me. I know about you. I know about our families. I know a lot of stuff, but I don't know anything that the hunt knows or that the clan knows at those levels. But the elder does. He knows everything about everything. He's in the know on a lot of this stuff. And if someone gets upset with the family, with the clan, with the hunt, all rolls uphill. He's the figurehead who takes on that. That's his job. He protects us. Because he knows it, he's able to react accordingly. And so he's that figurehead. So if someone did something within the hunt, within the clan, he's going to be the one to address it. And if someone outside wants to enact their own sort of justice or revenge, that's going to be the only person they know about.
Okay, but
that's,
but you,
that's
no.
truth.
But you could have told me this downstairs.
I want to be candid with you because we're family. And I struggle with that around strangers. I see buyers and sellers. I don't see family or friends or people I can trust. So yeah, I wanted to do this just me and you, because honestly, this is how we handle things. Not how it's not for them to understand. This is us. This is how we do stuff. This is where we come from and how we've always handled things. So when someone does something perceived as bad, the elders take care of it. And the elder is going to be the front person for that. But if you want to ask any questions, again, I don't know everything. I'll do what I can to ask. I do want to be candid with you, not them. You can tell them whatever you want. And if you trust them, open up to them. But honestly, I don't trust with that many tattoos. And your lady friend seemed real aggro just the moment I walked in. And I don't know what that wizard was doing, but it seemed potent. Like way stronger than any of the wizards we had come through. So like, I don't know what I was walking in. I know what you bring to the table, and it's a lot of good stuff. So yeah, I was a little nervous about the others.
Look, I know you're hiding something from me, and you say you want me to understand, then make me understand. I don't know, like, why.
Okay,
why would chains do something? Like, why would someone want to kill that man? Why? If all we're doing is buying and selling goods, what's the harm in that? That's legitimate business.
Yes, all legitimate business. The other business we do is new starts. And what that is, and what a lot of people know us for outside of our home, is we help people disappear. And a lot of people get upset because they don't understand why that person wants to disappear. We help people that don't want to be where they are. Like, you've probably seen it. Everyone is born and lives and dies at the same place. A lot of people don't have the means to travel or the will to do it on their own. And if things get bad, it gets even harder for them to do it. So we help people start again elsewhere. But a lot of people don't understand their motives for leaving. And so then they get angry with us because we're the ones that made it happen. because they can't go and find their person because what they wanted
How
was
many of these
new.
people are murderers? How many of these people are criminals? How many of these people are just bad people?
My understanding, none. And I don't know if that is entirely true. However, I have only ever interacted with people that are just looking for something new.
Insight
Like,
check, insight check, insight check. I have meager
Yeah,
insight, but I'm going to do it.
Get in there. Get in there. We got to roll dice. This is Dungeons and
Yeah.
Dragons. I have to remember that.
That's 12.
That's 12. He does seem to be racking his brain, and you have seen him like kind of do that like double take on what he just said of like doubling back, and his body language is kind of like a little tense in the back as he's talking. But yeah, he's just going on about like, look, as I certainly don't know of any criminal movement of that regard. The stuff I know about are things like families that can't reconcile, of, you know, people that suffer great embarrassment and want to go away, people that just find themselves so stuck in mediocrity that they don't know how to get out. I mean, I've helped unhappy housewives find happy relationships. I've found victims of abuse. I've found kids that, in their own words, say that they were adopted by the wrong families.
I want to
They
just
have the
sock him right
signs
in the
for it.
gut. Right in the fucking gut.
Yeah, go for it.
That is... that's a 15 to hit.
That hits.
And that's minimum
You
damage. So
can-
that's only
yeah, I was
4
like, you
damage.
can't. I was like, if you want to, you can choose to do minimum damage. You can also roll for it.
Yeah, I rolled minimum.
Dope.
And I just kind of just sock him right in the gut, and I don't move my hand back out. Look, stop with the used wagon salesman. You don't have to do that to me.
Look, the used wagon salesman, not a part of me I like. It is a part of me. And if you want the full ghost, I haven't had the chance to work this part out yet. Honestly, I have never, and my family has never helped a criminal unless they've done something that we don't know about. We don't just move anyone, okay? We do background checks. We try to figure out why they're actually wanting to move, because if we don't want seekers coming after us, bounty hunters, we're trying to not do anything illegal. Like, we don't move people if they have debt. Like, it's so easy to not get moved. But the ones that we do move leave an impact. And that's because they're typically good people that want to do good somewhere else. And people
Ghost,
miss them.
stop and listen to me very clearly. I'm going to find this cure, and then I will find out who did this. And if the person who did it for a reason that Hunted Jewel was too innocent to hear, or we didn't want to tell Hunted Jewel, then I will turn my fucking back on all of this. So tell me right now, what else do I need to know?
You weren't kept in the dark because of who you are. You were kept in the dark because you didn't need to know. Anyone who knows is at a risk. Because at some point, there are people that tried really hard to try and find the people that we helped move. And so, with more people that don't know, we help them more. It has nothing to do with why we didn't tell you, other than the less people know about the ones that get moved, the better. So it isn't personal. And it isn't because you're on the younger side of the clan. It isn't because you're not capable. You were chosen out of dozens of people to be the one to try and find a cure. Only 11 were sent out. And you are well in the lead as far as I'm concerned. You are the most capable person I know. And it was never, ever hidden from you because we didn't think you couldn't handle something.
Look, just like either you have one more chance. Just come clean, or I'm just gonna leave. And
Come clean about what? I'm an open book. You are more important to me than whatever you think I know.
Fuck you. And I just walk out.
He kind of just flops back on the bed. And just, you can hear just your feet step down kind of a bit, and you swear you can hear whimpering. As you come down the stairs, the camera kind of just pans up past your boots, past probably a nice big scowl on your face, up through the roof, up through the sky, past stars, blips through some color. And we are in a very strange place. We come in from an infinitely long distance to Sicilian in his beautiful green cloak. You're not sure if he's upside down or if he's the one that's right side up, but about 6 inches away is a halfling. Noses are perfectly lined up. He's about 170 degrees opposite of your orientation. And Cass, your eyes just kind of begin to open up slowly, and there's a big old upside down grin right in front of you. This like cute symmetrical halfling with like a shortcut hair who just says, "Hi, I'm Gary." Oh, Gary's so excited that you're a hero, boy.
Gary,
Welcome.
do you need to be so close to my face?
Oh, we can't move. We're kind of stuck this way. Gary would love to move if I could, but Gary is here, and you're now
Immediately-
Gary's friend.
Cass just tries to like reach up and push him.
So you're actually just kind of frozen where your hands were like down holding your sword after that big swing that cut through the starfall, and then it came up behind you and grabbed you. That's the position you're in, and you are like trying to like flex and move, and you realize you have no muscle control below your face muscles. Like your jaw
So I have enough
doesn't
muscle control to
move.
talk.
Yeah, your jaw doesn't move. You can blink. Your eyebrows are totally active. I don't know if you can. You could try to wiggle your ears, but like the brain, yeah, there it is. Wiggle those ears on that camera. Yeah, just pretty much like the jaw bone down is just incapable of movement.
Gary,
Yeah, Gary. I'm Gary. And Gary's just blinking like every 3 seconds. Just wide-eyed, keeping those eyes wet, but like big old grin.
yeah, Cass is definitely doing everything in his power, like swinging his eyes wildly in every direction to try and find out where he, like, to just get some sort of visual cue. But he keeps his voice calm, and he, Gary, where exactly are we?
Gary finds that question hard to answer, but Gary understands the premise of it. Gary and you are technically nowhere, but also somewhere that hasn't happened yet, as far as Gary understands it.
Okay. And Gary, how long have you been not here?
I have been here for over 3 million blinks.
Excuse me?
blinks. That's how we don't exist and time not work. Gary, blink, time make.
Gary,
That's a concept Gary doesn't grasp well.
if you've been here long enough to make the conscious effort to count your blinks,
Oh, I don't choose to
how do you
that
know when you
anymore.
started?
Gary said over, so longer than. Gary has blinked always. That's how Gary's eyes work.
Okay,
but
Gary. Why don't what? Where are you from, Gary? At this point, Cass is like, just like eyes penetrating Gary's eyes. Like, please fucking say something of use to me right away.
You've definitely like looked around as much as you can, and the stuff that you can see from like around Gary with just your eyes moving, so you can see, you know, maybe like just a few feet to either of his sides. There's literally nothing. It is just blackness. And then you think in the distance you might see like a mote of light, and then it like twinkles out of existence from here and there. And even looking into his eyes, you can see your reflection when he's not blinking, a big red mass behind you, and then a couple of more like motes of light that seem to be a bit more common within the reflection of his eyes. And then Gary is just kind of going cross-eyed and like looking up, which is down for you, which might not be down or up at all. And he's just kind of pondering, I remember Gary's from trees. Gary used to live in trees. Gary was from a forest. Gary was near mountains.
Okay. Gary, tell me about these mountains. What do they look like? What do they smell like, Gary?
Berries, flowers, tea. Oh, tea. Gary misses tea. Oh, Gary, mountains separated the continent, separated from other place. Jungle, river place, other side. Gary was on.
Bon, can I just roll like to see if I
absolutely.
know this place or okay?
I need to pull up the map real quick. So yeah, this would be an wisdom. Do you have survival?
I don't have survival.
Awesome. Well, we will do a wisdom check anyway.
Okay.
Or intelligence. Pick whichever one you like. I think you would be able to come.
I like
to
wisdom
this
much
conclusion
better.
Either way. That sounds
Yeah.
right.
I rolled a 1. I did it.
Dope. What is your total though?
3.
3? Yeah, you not quite certain. You'll remember it because of the weird description, and hopefully you can, you know, lock this away for a moment. But yeah, mountains that separate swamp rivers, you're not entirely certain what that means.
Okay. Gary.
Gary's here. Yes, Gary's excited.
Tell me.
Hi.
Yes, friend. Do you know what you're going to help this friend do?
No.
You're going to help this friend figure out where Gary and this friend. Why am I talking in the third person? Gary, you're going to help us escape. And I'm going to help us escape. We're going to escape together. Do you understand that?
Oh, no. That's not how Gary works. I'm trapped.
Okay.
You're
How do you know that?
well, the others were only here for a little bit and then they go away.
Who are the others? Wait, Gary, let's back up. What was the last thing you remember before you got here?
I saw a guy getting beat up by 5 other people. And then I was here. Oh,
No.
also, it's my birthday.
how
Yeah, Gary's birthday.
how old are you, Gary?
Oh, no, this is a trick. I
How many
will
blinks are
be-
you, Gary?
Gary will be 55. when we
Okay.
leave.
Very good. And then like Cass's ears perk up and he looks at Gary again. He says, when we leave?
That is when you hear a very strange saying behind you. And I just need to find that tab. Because I want to make sure I get it right. So I wrote it down. You hear in a deep bellowing voice, Slod wavan noald kept fatur. You can tell
One more
it's
time?
behind you, and you're not sure how like far away it's from you. And again, slightly louder, you heard Slod wavan noald kept fatur. And then you feel a very hot warmth just all across your back, like there's a bonfire for like 3 seconds, and then it's gone.
But I'm still in the same place.
Still in the same place. You've heard a voice a distance
Gary.
behind you.
Gary, what the hell was that, Gary?
Oh, that is either Estley, Gary, or Gary Estley.
Okay. Gary, I'm going to ask you an important question.
You talking to this Gary?
Is everyone in this world named Gary or Estley?
I have not. No. Gary knows this one. No. It's Gary Estley, and Cor. Cornelius. Courtney. Cor. But Cor's not here right now. But you're here, and you're Gary's friend now. So we get to talk. I like logic. What do you like?
I like trees, Gary.
Oh, tree.
I like to sleep in trees.
Gary likes sleeping in trees too.
I love the forest.
Gary thinks you're the nicest person to come through here. You might be Gary's best friend.
And Gary, no.
Yes.
My name is Cass.
Cass.
I would
It's a
very
good
much like to
name.
go home.
Oh,
So I need you to focus on how that happens, because you said that people come and go here.
Oh, yeah. So there's Cornelius Courtney. They go sometimes when they want. And then there are the others who come and go almost at random. And then there's the people Cornelius Courtney brings, and they only are here for a little bit. And then they go away.
So every time that Cornelius leaves here,
Someone comes to talk
comes.
to Gary.
So you've made a lot of friends, Gary.
No, I like you the best. You're my best friend.
Okay. And if I told you that me, your best friend, we're best friends now.
Yes,
you and I,
Cass, Gary's best friend.
that I wanted to find my way home, how would you help your best friend do that?
Oh, Gary would get Cor to make the sign, so that way you get to choose where to go home.
And
At some point, Cornelius Cor Courtney will come back and ask where you want to go home. Where home go is. I am Gary.
Gary,
Hi. Yeah.
has anyone ever died here?
No.
That's good.
No.
That's good.
Gary tried.
Tried to kill somebody or tried to die?
Gary tried to die. Gary couldn't. Gary was stopped. Not by Cor.
Well, Gary, since we're best friends now,
Yes.
if you ever make it to my world, I'll kill you as a favor.
No.
As a favor.
If Gary gets back, Gary doesn't want to Gary die. Oh
Okay.
no, Gary wants
And then he whispers under his
polar bear
breath,
drink.
well, right now, I want to die.
No. Gary wants polar bear snow.
Polar bear snow.
Yeah. Cor brings back
Why?
polar bear snow sometimes. It's the best. It's like, tea is hot and
In
not
some
sweet.
places.
And
in some
then
places.
polar bear snow is sweet and cold. It's the best.
Okay. That sounds
It
great,
also-
Gary.
Comes in colors. Gary likes colors. But Gary wants... Oh! And it's at that time you hear like a faint little pop behind you. And then like you can actually see some movement come around. And there's just a bald man like floating in at like a 90-degree angle from Gary. And he's got no eyebrows, completely bald, has like this big old long mustache, kind of like a Fu Manchu mustache that continues down, but instead of just going straight down, once it gets past the chin, it like curves across each other and come to just like these fine points, and just not a single hair is out of place. And he kind of just pops in. Your friends have seen to your safe return, and you'll be leaving momentarily. Sorry.
Cornelius, I take it.
Yes. Or Courtney. Or, well, I guess this is Cornelius. Cor seems to work fine. If you don't mind, though, I have work to
Cor.
do. And holds up a elemental control orb.
As he pulls it up, I think it registers for Cass that he's about to get sent away from this. And he looks at Cor and he goes, Slol Dwalvin Noel Cap Fatur.
Yeah, I have no idea what it means either.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, he prattles on about it incessantly. I couldn't get an advanced Elven book in order to figure it out. It is Elven, so I don't know. Maybe one of your
Good for
friends.
you, Bunk. Good for you.
Happens to know. Wait, you don't think I looked this up? I got
No,
your
well,
character sheets.
yeah, no,
I'm
that's what I
in
was
there.
saying. Yeah. No, I don't
This is a
speak
plot
Elven.
point.
I speak Celestial, which is my weird one.
Different.
Yeah, my weird one.
fine.
That's my weird one.
It's fine. It's fine.
I think at this point, Cass looks back at Gary and says, "Hey, Gary, how often do you get to leave here?"
Oh, Gary has never left. This is Gary's home now.
And then he turns to Cor and he goes, "So how do you choose the people you swap places with?"
No. Typically youths, typically those of less fortune, they tend to give them an exchange of greater value. Speaking of, you probably need something. He like pats himself down and he like pulls out from one of his like chest pockets just a gold wristwatch and like slides it onto one of your hands.
One of my hands in the position of me wielding a sword. Got it. This is a bracelet? A watch? What is this?
It is a finely tuned mechanical device for keeping track of time, which is utterly useless here. However, is made of very many rich materials and should, once you return, be converted into about 100 gold. So just hang on to that. Should take place about 2 or 3 days within your time, max. Sometimes it's even just 10 minutes. Anyway, I have work to do. Sorry you're here. Your friends are terrible. But I will see you again. Goodbye. And like just floats out of your line of sight.
Cass looks to Gary and says, "It is my sincere hope that I do not see him again." And then he focuses his eyes on Gary and he goes, "So what do you do here while you're waiting?"
Gary likes word games. Gary likes puzzles. Gary likes thinking about colors. And he just starts listing off all these things as like the camera like zooms out from your like space and void, and we descend back on to Aria. And we're gonna see what our other party members would like to do with about the 3 days their time it's gonna take for you to have this conversation. It feels like 3 days, I know, Cass, but for you it's only about 15-20 minutes. So let's zoom in where we left off with Rowena. You're downstairs, you know you have some time to kill. G kind of grumbles off to himself, and yeah, I'm gonna get my package and I'm gonna head on out of here. And like goes and looks under the bar and like pulls out just a brown box with his name on it, just like some string. Tucks it under his arm. Good luck. Yeah. Heads on out that door. Jewel comes down the stairs, bit of a grimace, and yeah, you two have a moment before you jump into what is going to be a montage of some downtime activities. You both know that you have 3 days to kill before Cash shows up.
Did you find out what you needed to know?
You are
You're
muted, Zep.
No. Found out a bunch of other shit though.
That's often how it goes. People with secrets don't like to give them up easily.
Yeah, and family secrets are apparently even harder to get up.
Yeah. Hey, on the bright side, at least your family with secrets isn't dead before you get a chance to ask them about it.
That kind of remains to be seen. Look, I got to do some research. Look, that like little vision journey kind of got me thinking. I got some ideas. Look, I'll see you in a little bit. I got to go ask the Broven something. All right, so goodbye. And then HJ just runs out.
Yeah, as you run out, that's also kind of the sign. It seems like G's checked back in with Laura and people are starting to filter back in, but you're quick enough to like slip out before the crowd of people begin to pour back into the bar. And it seems like Laura has settled up, is ushering people in. But yeah, you're on the other side of the crowd with Laura, and directs you. I assume you want to talk to Butch? Or yes.
Me?
No. Jules, you want to talk to Butch. I was getting Butch confused with his grandpa, who I also named a B name.
Sorry, yeah, I'm running to either
Broven.
kind of over to the
Brovens,
Brovens,
not the Lloyds.
Yeah.
JK.
with the intent to start
family.
montaging. So
Yeah.
camera
Yup.
camera jump cuts back to Rowena. Bwomp.
Yup.
I say, Rowena, when she sees Jules run out and the crowd runs back in, like, she kind of thinks for a second about following Jules and then just kind of shakes her head. She's gonna get up, go behind the bar, find the, like, dirty rags, and start wiping up all of the booze that got dumped all over when Cor shattered all the bottles with the prestidigitation, because all the bottles in the windows have reformed, but there's, like,
Their
food and bev
contents
everywhere.
are, yeah.
And she's just gonna snap back into full, like, I'm 14 and I work in a bar mode, and she's just gonna start cleaning up so that Laura doesn't get stuck with it. She's gonna do that for a little bit. So.
Yeah, Laura eventually finds her way back in and is, like, super thankful for it, and, like, tries to assure you, like, no, you definitely don't have to.
You know what? Honestly, I don't have anything else to do, so if you just let me do this, and Rhoda will just, like, move away and just keep finding stuff to clean.
And you can see Laura now talking with Mac, and at some point they both kind of, like, just grab you, like, up underneath the arm, and we're like, we're gonna do it the family way. And it starts off like this little montage of you guys, like, going around and, like, going through their checklist and how they run their business, because it's like, you know what, curving into it. So then boom, jump back, cut to Jules. Yeah, you want to work with the Brovins. You come storming up, and, like, a little rap on their door again. Mr. Brovin pops out. 3 times in one day.
Look, this is. I know I'm. What do you know about the magic that no one's supposed to know about? That's why I'm whispering.
Oh, you don't have to whisper. I mean, magic is kind of like a controlled thing. There are magics that people can't do. And
Yeah. Those.
I have a sudden interest, and, like, opens the door and, like, pulls you in, and, like, gets a pot of tea ready going. So yeah, your montage will start off there. And yeah, we're gonna come sailing back into nothingness, where we have Gary just listing off things he likes to think about. Sometimes I wiggle my eyes and it makes Gary's head hurt. Watch.
If there was a way for Cass's eyes to express, oh my fucking god, this is a personal hell, that's what his eyes would say right now. Right? Because Gary is, like, listing off things that, like, by and large, Cass hates.
Yeah. It's been about a minute of him just listing things that you're just, like, diametrically opposed to. Gary thinks you want to talk about something not Gary related.
Gary, do you like? And I mean, like, at this point now, even after just a minute, Cass is, like, so exhausted that he can't remember anything that he loves. So he's like, do you like horses?
Gary's
Oh,
never
God.
seen a horse.
Oh, okay.
Are they
Okay.
scary?
No.
Are
No,
they
no.
big?
Some are
I
bigger than
hear
others.
They're so big, they're scary.
Okay, let me explain to you how a horse looks, and I'll tell you about a horse, and you just listen and answer when I ask you a question.
Great. Gary is ready.
Okay. Horses are 4-legged creatures with very
True.
long faces.
True.
Have
Oh,
you
these
ever
are statements.
seen
Gary will continue to listen.
Have
Go.
you ever seen a donkey?
No.
Have you ever seen? And then, like, Cass just sits there and goes, you know what, Gary?
No.
Just, what's your favorite food, Gary?
Gary loves scones. No. Polar bear snow. Polar bear snow. Gary knows it's sometimes a liquid, but Gary likes it when it's a solid. Foods are solid. Gary likes polar bear snow.
Cass holds. Cass like his eyes get big. He goes, "Oh, okay, Gary. Let's play a game. How's that?"
Okay.
Okay, Gary. Without telling me, think of a number 1 through 10. Do you have it?
Got it.
Okay. Now, take that number and multiply it times 9.
Got it.
Okay. Now, is your number a 2-digit number?
No.
Is your number 1?
Well, it's 9 now. It was 1.
A single tear rolls down Cass's face.
As we jump back to Arya, it's been an entire day. You've been trotted around the bar in just a completely different but somewhat familiar work routine. Rowena, Jules, you've been like talking about magic and theory with the Brovins, and sometimes it's Mr. Brovin, sometimes it's Mrs. Brovin. But after about the first day, they've kind of exhausted what they know. But they do tell you, if you want to keep talking about magic, they have a book. Take it, read it. It covers a lot of the basics. And if you read between the lines, you start to figure out what is the stuff that was intentionally left out. On top of that, they tell you about someone in the militia who is a caster, who does know some magic. They came from the wizard school. They did their service, and they ended up staying in town and joined the militia. And so after a very long, lengthy discussion, they're like, don't come back tomorrow. Please go talk with them. This has been great, but we don't have the answers for all your questions. Hopefully they do.
Okay, yeah, this has been good. Wait, okay, who was it again? What's their name?
Their name is Josephine.
Okay, yeah, I'll go. I'm gonna go read this book, and I'm gonna go talk to Josephine. Look, you guys have just been more help than you could possibly imagine. And look, I won't tell anybody we talked.
Okay. And they both kind of like shut the door and go off to making their late night supper. Rowena, you've had just this flurry, and it's that familiar exhaustion you've had after a full day work in a pub and a bar, and you're like, oh, this is not how I thought I'd be spending my time. And both of them are kind of looking at you, and they're like, yeah, you did pretty good. You want to come again back tomorrow?
I mean, yeah, I'm sure I'm a bit rusty. I haven't really done this since I was a teenager. I mean, we got more time to kill, so if you've got to work for me, I can also... I'd be much better at, reshoeing horses or something, if that's what people are needing, but...
Well, there's what you're good at, and there's what you should be doing. Come back tomorrow. And they, slide you the key for one of the rooms upstairs.
She'll just kind of look at it, take it, nod, just be like, I'm not sure where Jules got off to, but if he pops in, just tell him where I am. I don't know if he wants to talk or not, but
Sounds good.
It's been sort of a day.
And yeah, just ships passing in the night as we zoom back up, and it's kind of that for your schedules are offbeat a little bit. You're both kind of running around. Whenever you do seem to see Jules, it's kind of just you get grabbed and you get back thrown into some thing, or they've got some gossip to tell you and bring you in on, and some word games and social things. It's a little exhausting, but they're forcing a smile out of you over the next 2 or 3 days, and it's not a genuine smile, but it's a smile. And Jules, you end up getting passed around from people to people around town who know a little bit about magic. This militia person kind of goes on about oh yeah, this was my training, this is what I do, these are the spells I get, and you start asking all these complicated questions, or describing in vagueness what Cor can do, and they're like, oh no, that's not mortal magic.
I'm just yes, it is.
Oh, like, well, I mean, okay, there are stories of way back in the day, dragons or giants or even the griffins could actually give this magic to an individual, and they used them to control other mortals. But no, that doesn't exist anymore. Like, no one person has that. If you want to do those big, strong, powerful spells that can wreak havoc, it's got to be in groups. You got to have a bunch of powerful casters. The small folk, that's what took them out. Too many powerful casting gnomes all got together, made them all disappear. That's why we don't do magic like that. It gets way out of hand. No one can control it. Just get it out of your mind. But if you do want to learn more, and he like hands you off some more books for you to read and like little journals of notes and stuff from here, as we come zooming back, and it's only been like a minute of you just having like your tear hasn't quite rolled off of your chin yet. Oh, I think Gary's got to say goodbye.
What?
Oh, you're I can see through your forehead. So you're going soon. So Gary says bye. This was nice.
Okay.
I'll look you up. Cor says we might get to go home soon. So I'll see you. Maybe.
Okay.
Don't kill Gary.
Gary, if you don't want to die, I'm not going to kill you. But
Yeah, Gary doesn't want to die anymore.
thanks for keeping me company.
Thank you. Gary's so happy. Oh, can't wait to see you again, Cass. Anyway,
Okay. All right. Should we go to sleep now?
oh, you'll just kind of go away. I hear it's a lot. Yeah.
Gary, would you like to hear about my favorite food?
Yes, I would.
And then, like, from memory, Cass just starts reciting a recipe for a meat pie.
Nice.
1 medium potato, half-pound ground beef,
Oh,
half-pound ground pork,
oh.
clove garlic, chopped onion, water, mustard powder, thyme, salt.
It's when you say time
pepper.
that you completely disappear and just get like thrown through just a tunnel of like lights, sounds, and you realize you're not moving, but literally everything else in your perceivable universe is moving around you, and it is the most disorienting thing you've ever felt. And then you realize you're not moving and the things aren't moving around you. You are now growing into a scale that is, you think, larger than what you were. And the things weren't moving, but just kind of rushing out of your view that you're able to perceive. And you're just like growing and growing. And you just feel this like air pressure around you, and it's gonna last for about another 30 seconds as we come rushing back to Aria, and it's getting close to midday on the 3rd. Rowena, you've gotten into a sweet rhythm around the pub. You've got girl chat locked and loaded with Laura and Mac, and you're like, in the back of your mind, you're like, who the fuck is this person? But like, you're like, yeah, like, let's go. Like, it's chatting with the girls, fake smiles for all these like people coming through. You know the regulars, you know the small talk, you got all this stuff down. And then yeah, Jules, you've got a plethora of books since now you've exhausted the people, but between the notes and things, you're kind of reading just whenever you can, and you have kind of this knowledge and this understanding of what is allowed magic versus not allowed magic anymore.
Mhm.
And it's a bit strange. It definitely is something. And then you kind of realize, oh, Cass should be back any minute now. And it's kind of that cue prompt to like, hey maybe I should go meet up with Rowena.
Yeah.
You know she's in the pub.
I think I like slammed the book down, just like where was that like metal box thing? Oh, Rowena's got it. Okay, I gotta go. And I like slammed the book down, and like it's like my room is probably a mess with all these notes and stuff. And yeah, I slammed the book down, go downstairs, and maybe a little bit too louder, a little bit too loud. Just Rowena, is Cass back?
No, I'm on my way out now. Rowena would have been keeping very careful time, and like, honestly, she might not even be in the pub when Jules comes down, because she wants to make sure she's away from people when Cass pops back in, because she doesn't know what this is going to be.
True.
She might actually already be out back of like the stables or something, or find some field area. She doesn't know what's going to happen, so she's going to find some big open space and just like set the tinderbox kind of down and just kind of wait nearby. And it's probably the same thing that you've seen her before, where she like sets it down and like 6 feet away, just kind of sits down cross-legged on the ground and just kind of watches it.
And so yeah, Jules probably catches up after you like fed your horse and are like making your way off there. Like, horse gets lunch, it's about time, put this down. Jules catches up with you. It's been a whirlwind of some days. You both feel a little bit more knowledgeable about things. For you, Jules, you are going to gain proficiency in the Arcana skill. And for you, Rowena, you are going to gain a bonus feat, Resilient in Charisma.
Okay.
Which I believe will give you proficiency in Charisma saving throws, as well as, I think, +1 Charisma?
That sounds correct.
Yeah. But yeah, you can look those up, drop those on your character sheet. We will be moving into the opportunity to do more downtime things, because we know that there's going to be some significant events. Like in 6 weeks, we potentially have Courtney, Cor, Cornelius coming back. In 4 weeks, we should have another full moon where we're going to probably see Brutus again. So yeah, we will be having some more montages. So think of some things you can do in your downtime, and there will be fun, pertinent rewards. But yes, please add both of those to you. And yeah, you have kind of a moment. Never mind, you don't have a moment.
Yeah.
You're about to start up. There's that pop, and you can kind of just see Cass with his sword down, like finally the like tension that he's had like in his arms for the last 10-15 minutes is finally able to like raise his sword back up. And yeah, he's got this like beautiful golden watch next to his bracelet with 7 white pearls on it. And is just kind of there, has his arms up now. You have complete control over your body. And honestly, it's just that moment of kind of like checking in, like being able to move. Your friends are right there. There's a tinder box underneath you with some strange runes that are now just black instead of colorful. And the golden watch that's on you, you like get to check it out for the first time, and it kind of like looks magnificent, and then it just drops from your wrist and turns into 110 gold pieces that just fall down to the ground.
Let me just go ahead and get into my bag and note that down before I forget.
Yep.
If you want, we can also do that during the small 5-minute break we're going to have. But what sweet one-liner are you going to drop with your return back to this dimension, world, plane?
I see Rowena and Hannah Jewel in front of me.
6 feet in front of you.
Well, did you have a nice time?
Rowena kind of unexpectedly, like, she stands up as soon as there's sort of like any movement or anything, and as soon as she sees Cass, just abruptly and with no warning, just runs up and like throws her arms around him in a hug.
Oh.
And it lasts for like 2 seconds, and then she immediately pulls back like, oh god, what was that? And she's like, you know, we had a time. How are you?
That was very sweet. I was not prepared for that. I don't think Cass was either. And
Rowena also wasn't, so.
And he looks at her and says, "It's very nice to see you too." And then he looks up at the sky, and I assume it's daytime right now.
Yeah, it's midday. Based on the position of the sun, it's a lot less cloudy than where you were here 3 days ago.
And
Nice blue skies.
But
You're thinking it's maybe
But I
about
don't
1.
know that it's been 3 days.
No, you don't. You know that the sky is completely different. It is not the mostly cloudy sky you had. It is real clear, not a cloud on the horizon. The sun
is
is up. You
daylight,
were
yeah.
traveling in night.
Yeah. So then I think I look at HJ and Rona and go, "What? How long was I gone?"
4 days?
3 days. It was supposed to be a week, but we sort of shortened the timeline. Or maybe the Wizard Cor shortened the timeline for us. Not entirely sure how that works.
Cat snaps. Who?
Oh, we made enemies of a wizard. Sorry about that.
Cor?
Well, they went by
Cor,
a few names.
Courtney? Cornelius?
Yeah, all those.
I just met him. And then I hold up the bag of 110 coins. He was
It's not a
very
bag,
generous.
It's just loose coins.
Oh,
that just
I hold up-
because you
I
had
like-
a watch that burst into coins.
I see. Okay. I make a gesture of picking up all of the, as much of the 110 coins as I can and going, he was very generous.
I swear to the gods, I want to just punch
And then I
this
just start putting
motherfucker
it
in the
into my
face.
bag.
Rhoda will help you pick up the last couple because she's also going to reach down, pick up her tinder box, and slip it back into her bag.
Right. So I befriended him. You made enemies of him. And what of the smith?
Miss Pritchell is, she might be out in Bastille and using my forge to, work on her experiments. We got her some ore that she needed from the Brovens, like we had talked about.
I think that's when it clicks for Cass that they're an aria. And he's like, hold that thought. I am in desperate need of a meat pie and an ale.
Well, lucky for you, we just put the pies in the oven before I took my break to feed Farrier, so come on in.
Yeah, and he will walk in and just slam. Who cares if it's not his? Just slam the first beer he sees.
Yeah, sure thing.
And just before the first one, he'll pick it up and smell it and go, to Gary.
Who?
Rowena just replaces the one that he drank for whoever he grabbed it from, while also filling him one and sliding him another.
Okay, so Cornelius, Courtney,
We
not an ally.
maybe want to talk upstairs. I've got a room.
Okay, and then he also gestures for a pen, pad, and paper.
Yep.
And writes down Slole doivent Noël captivateur.
Dope. I will go ahead and copy and paste that, throw it to you guys on Discord, as well as in the 11 Face Discord channel, in case you want to go to our Discord and participate in some shenanigans.
Are you sure that my phonetic way of spelling it is not the way it's spelled?
I haven't seen the way you've spelled everything. Also,
Believe me when I tell you that it is almost certainly not the way it is spelled.
But yeah, I will find that for you, just so we can have it in the notes all together the same waysies.
Thanks.
I gotta remember where it was.
That's right. In the meantime,
make your way
Rowena's gonna just
upstairs.
herd everybody up to her room and kind of.
A tray with some pies and another round comes up with you.
And while we're walking upstairs, I'll make a point of showing what I've written down to both Rowena and HJ and saying, Do either of you speak High Elven?
I speak a couple forms of Elven. I don't know if this is one of them, but I'll take a look.
You would be able to read this.
Oh, goody.
And the translation is, I will swallow the sun with darkness.
Rowena's just gonna read that, pause, and just go, right, okay. Yeah, my room. And once we're safely ensconced in her room, and she's got, like, the door shut, and probably, like, I don't know, a chair wedged under the handle or so. Like, she goes full, like, nobody's getting in here. She will then, tell everybody. Yeah, well, I mean, I've never heard this particular phrase before, but, it translates to, I will swallow the sun with darkness.
So, was this Cor's friend who was saying that? It's Cor wanted a book on Elvish on Elven because they didn't know how to speak
Didn't
it,
understand it.
and this may be part of the reason why.
It was a voice or a matter. It existed in this place where I was.
Where are you?
Wherever Cor calls home.
So some sort of nightmare existence between reality and the other. At least from what I gathered from what G said about Cor and...
Or
What's
someone
Cor
else's
themselves?
reality altogether.
Mark,
Yes.
given that I speak a couple of forms of Elvish,
Mhm.
this is a weird question to have to ask. Is Elvish a language that uses a lot of, like, metaphorical language? Like, where I would be like, oh, maybe this means something more direct and this is just a literal translation? Or is this something where it's like, oh no, this is exactly what it means, I just don't know what that translates to?
If I could tack on an additional question to that,
Yeah.
even as a player, not necessarily as cast, but is there also like a possibility that a different form of Elvish translates this differently?
I will take intelligence rolls for both of you.
Okay.
I have no queries.
Dude, solid.
I
I got a 15.
got a 17.
Nice. So we'll start with Rowena's question, which was what again?
Essentially, like, is Elvish a metaphorical language? Do they use metaphors to convey concrete concepts, or does this mean what it means?
Yes, it is a metaphorical language. There's lots of things, because like reading this out, you could easily be like, okay, well, is like sun could be star, could be like the way it's translated, sun could be thing in sky, person of man and woman that is of male. It could be in place of a noun, yada yada yada. Yeah, it could easily be a metaphor, could also be literal.
Okay.
Also with your role, you're like, this is also more of like an old Elvish style, so it's kind of like we can read Shakespearean language. This is like the Elven equivalent of.
Got it.
This syntax doesn't really exist anymore, but this is the common way that this would have been said.
But it's
as we understand it,
right. But it's still within a form that I can read. It's just an older, more archaic version of what.
Yeah,
I
you're like,
okay.
Modern times, some stuff would have gotten switched around. Like the syntax is of an old format type of thing.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, and then Cass, your question was:
Is it possible that it reads differently in a different form of Elvish?
You think it might, just by looking at it. And like hearing it and just your understanding of languages and things like that, like celestial has changed over time, and you know that like the celestial a mortal speaks versus a celestial a non-mortal would speak do you have kind of like differences of them, and like things kind of in like modern terms, Spanish that is spoken in Mexico is somewhat different than Spanish spoken in Spain, so there
Totally.
might be kind of a loss there. You know, it's a possibility.
Okay.
You're not sure if any of these words would trigger it.
Okay.
All right, so you had a strange voice behind you in whatever void you were in who was saying this. You met the Wizard Cor.
How long were you gone for?
5 minutes?
It was about 15.
15 minutes?
Huh.
I think this is the point where Cass looks at them and goes, or
3
how
days.
many hours? Okay,
Oh.
or 3 days.
Magic's crazy.
This makes a lot of sense, though, with what G was saying about how Cor used to pop in and out. Also makes sense why they didn't seem to know what year it was when they showed up.
He can't. From what I gather, he can't just pop in and out.
No, there's some sort of trigger, and oh, Wizard Cor appears to be the Starfall.
No, sorry. What I mean is more than that. He has to switch places with somebody.
Yeah, that tracks. God, I wish I just stabbed him when I had the chance. Not
But
that it would have done anything.
Is it always the same person though? G said it.
Cor said they used to steal children. That's where the legend of the
Right.
Starfall came from.
What? But they weren't. They weren't a kid this time.
Kids are easier to kidnap than adults, Jules.
It's so they just like had this. They've just been impersonating this, switching places with the same person as they just like get older, and they're just.
What do you... I don't think it matters who they grab. They just have to grab someone from here so that they can come here in their place. And then when they're done being here, they do that crazy... You didn't see what they did to leave, did you?
No.
Fired off all of their magic at once, expended everything they had left in them, and then just disappeared. Wrecked the entire bar and then put it all back together again.
Whoa.
I don't think it matters who they trade places with, as long as they trade places with someone. I could be wrong. I don't know a lot about magic. It wasn't really my area. Arthur might have known a bit about it. But not this kind.
Did Cor travel alone?
They were alone when we met him.
He doesn't live alone.
No. They said they've got a, what did they call it? A cohort. Seems to be this... Whoever it is that speaks Elvish and maybe one other. Don't seem to like him very much.
And again, Cass goes to Gary,
I'm sorry. What's Gary?
the halfling he lives with.
What?
They're
How long-
stuck in a place that exists on its own. And when I was there, I was stuck. I couldn't move. And Gary was stuck and couldn't move. And Cor came. And eventually I was released. But a halfling. A real one.
Are you sure you're not like don't have any kind of like you like hallucinating? Are you sure like did they give you like any potions? Like what? They're gone.
They've been gone.
Cass
for...
walks up to HJ and like makes a fist and just bops him on the top of the head.
Oh, I'm dodging that. Fuck off. I'll fucking roll it. I don't give a fuck.
What's the call here, Bonk?
I'm gonna go with a reflex save because he's not actually trying to like attack you or anything like that, but it is definitely one of those like friendly, non-hostile gestures. So yeah, if you want to like get out of the way, I'm gonna go with a reflex save. So
That would be Dex for
Nestor-
those of us
Yeah.
in 5e.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was like,
Dexterity
and
saving
for
throw.
people who don't play 3.5 or wherever the fuck a
It's
reflex save is
been
from.
2 weeks, my bad. Dexterity
fine.
saving throw.
Yeah.
And yes, your proficiency bonus is a 2.
For what?
Your proficiency bonus
yes,
overall.
yes. My whole proficiency bonus, yes, +2.
And do you want to use strength or dex?
Dex
What's your modifier for that?
+4. No, +2. Excuse me, +2. Sorry.
Oh, in total, it would be a +4 with your proficiency.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
your
my
DC is going to be 12 there, Jules.
Oh yeah, I'm 21.
Yeah. Yeah, he like lifts it up and like goes to like bonk you, and yeah, you just kind of do the head off to the side, and like he doesn't even get all the way down to your shoulder because like he wasn't any sort of like follow through.
Yeah.
Look, you could have been drugged. I don't know. You got taken.
I wasn't drugged. You know Courtney,
Yeah, I mean,
right?
kind of.
You know the Wizard Core.
We met the Wizard Core, yes.
And I was gone from you for 3 days
Yep.
and came and know the Wizard Core.
Hmm.
We've interacted with the same person, which means that he, in whatever system he uses to get here, kept me safe by freezing me in place with Gary. Now, some would call that a prison because you haven't met Gary, but he keeps Gary alive also.
Or maybe there's somebody here who switched places with Gary. And they're still here.
Somebody who switched places with a halfling hundreds of years ago before the small folk disappeared and has managed to sustain it when Wizard Cor, who is apparently the most dangerous person in the world, at least according to G, can only stay so long as their magic lasts, which is apparently not long.
But
About a
who's
week.
the most dangerous person in the world according to Core?
Probably whatever fuck off person sent him into this existential hell. Which is how they appeared. That's the form they say they took. Blonde human woman, blue eyes, pretty average looking for the most part. So, you know, I'm sure we're gonna find them real easily in an entire continent full of humans and elves.
Look, we can talk. Look, I do have questions, but you did come back at a time where I experienced forbidden magic.
Cass looks around.
Don't roll your eyes like that, Rowena.
I'm sorry, what am I supposed to do? You had an out-of-body experience and then you haven't talked to me for 3 days.
Okay. Look, I was just thinking, like, if Court could do that kind of magic, like, it would be like kind of cool if maybe it's someday, like, maybe I could learn how to do that kind of magic. I didn't get very far.
You spent 3 days trying to learn forbidden magic in the smallest town on the continent?
I spent 3 days trying to learn how I would go about learning how to do forbidden magic in the smallest town on the continent.
What exactly did Ghost tell you?
Look, Ghost told me, and look, Cass, it'll make sense in a second. Look, Ghost told me that, you know how I said that, my elder kind of just got sick and we're looking for a cure. Look, and they may have done something to deserve what they got. I don't know what they could have done, but I'm sure shit gonna find out.
Lots of people deserve worse than what they get in this life, so doesn't surprise me in the least.
So where's this forbidden magic taking us? He looks
scale.
at HJ.
Fallen scale.
And then he kind of leans into him a little bit and he goes, well, are you ready to lead the way?
Oh yeah, I know exactly where we're going. And he reaches into his cloak and pulls out the comically large map that he drew the way on from the astral vision, and kind of spreads it out. Gets this crazy look in his eyes. So I got whisked away, and then I saw the blades of grass flowing to the southwest. And then I went on, and then I flew over it, and then look, we passed this tree right here, and he points to this
Rowena's
circle thing.
gonna reach around HJ, because I assume you probably have it reach into his, while he's doing this, reach into his pocket, pull out the map that Wizard Cor drew, and hand that to Cass, the much more to scale, easier to read version. Just hand it, not a word, just here
opens it up, and he goes.
And for the podcast, what are you doing?
He's taking a big long drink out of his beer. Thank you. Let me rewind. Cass opens the map, stares at it, completely ignoring whatever HJ is continuing to talk about, and takes a long sip of his beer, finishes it, puts it down on the table, and looks up to HJ and says, Hey.
What?
I'm not asking you if you know where you're going. I'm telling you to lead the way. And he hands the little map back to him. And he says, if this is the reason that you came here, then let's get it done.
All right, we're gonna go find the cabbage cactus. And HJ kind of grabs a map, puts it in, and just kind of starts wait, are we? And he sort of starts walking out of town, and then he kind of stops, looks back. Are we ready to go? Is anyone
It's at that point you slide the map in, and it's that quick camera cut to the map on your bag on your side, which is now on the side of your rental horse that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And all three of you have your horses all geared up, and you're ready to go out of town. And then two other horses kind of come up to you, and it's Laura and Mac. They're on their way back towards daybreak, so they're heading off with you as well. Opposite directions, but it's kind of this is the time we're leaving town. It's 2 PM. We've had our lunch, time to travel. We'll get to where we need to go by sundown. And they're getting all set and stuff like that. And Butch is seeing them off and sees you off and packs some pies. So Rowena, these were pies that you made, so if these would like to be your super snacks.
Yes, they're absolutely my
special
Excellent.
Pies?
You've got some special pies, special hand pies, for portability, all packed away, and everyone's kind of just getting ready. Girls exchange some chitter chatter with you, and then Mr. Broven comes running out and taps Butch on the shoulder and whispers something into his ear, and he's yeah, absolutely, take it. And brings out another horse for him and saddles up and is ready to ride out with Mac and Laura. You don't mind? I'll be joining you, ladies. Safe travels, friends.
Wish you all best. I hope everything goes well for you.
Just eager to hit the road, and we'll go ahead and get his horse to start leading the way. And both the girls kind of look back at Butch, and they're go with him, and like gives the horses a pat on the butt and like a wave and blows off a kiss. And like the like smaller kids are running around behind and like wave and running away and with a stick, and it's kind of a nice scene. And they like trot up to catch up to him and seem to like pat him on the back and comfort him as they're on the way off to daybreak. Right. You should be making your way. It's about 2 days travel, all in scale. Take care of yourselves. It's been a pleasure. If you're ever around, you have a room here.
It's much appreciated. Thank you for all your kindness, and do take care of yourself. Keep an eye out. It's been a strange few days, and I don't imagine, especially with us having been around, it's gonna get any less strange. So, keep an eye open. Yeah.
For a small town, we're pretty used to strange, but we handle it in stride and are always welcome. So, for you as well. Gods be with you.
And you.
Gods be what they be.
And yeah, you're off onto the road heading west. It's a much more quiet journey. You make time pretty well. It's about nightfall when you hit the outskirts of Bestellin, or it's starting to set sun. Do you want to push through, continue through the night?
I think we've learned our lesson.
Yeah, I would like to not. I would like to take a rest.
Yeah, we're not pressed, I don't think.
Rowena doesn't like where we are, but also doesn't like having to push through again, so she will defer to the guys.
Where would you like to stop? Do you want to go into Bestellin? Do you want to go to your old place, which may have Miss Pritchell?
Rowena will suggest that we could stop at the house. She knows that even if Alana is there, like, she's not gonna give a crap if we just come flop over for the night and then leave again. So
Right.
Yeah, you make your way through. No lights on in the house whatsoever, but you know that the forge is been burning, and even just getting closer, you can feel warm just already on like the walls of it. This forge has been lit for 3 days straight of just all sorts of things, and you can see her running about, and she sees you, and she's like, "Oh, hello there! Come in," and like fixes you up and tries to like.
We're just crashing for the night. We don't want to get in your way. We'll stay in the house. Stay out of your way or anything.
Oh yeah,
If you need help,
please go ahead. I've just finished this. Oh, it's just a magnificent read. Oh, you really just understand. You'll get such a benefit out of it, and you just take this. But I've got other research to do. I gotta go tend to the. Don't. Back, and just like full sprints across the property, and like goes in and like tries to pull something out with just a gloved hand, and is like, "Oh no, tongs," and like goes back and like grabs something, and like you can just see her like shoveling dirt onto things and like dunking things in water. And then she's fashioned some like meat hooks that have just like blades with like holes through them where they would go into the hilt, just like hanging from them, that are like still red hot and like cooling down. And she's just got like her own factory going on right now. She's like, "Yeah, no, coming back, and please take a rest. No, take this book with you. You fucking love it." And it just like pushes you on it and like puts you in, and you're like, "Oh," and then we should really all, and just falls asleep in like one of the chairs immediately.
Right, okay. So there's a bed in the loft, there's a bed downstairs, and yeah.
I'll take the loft.
Cass takes the same corner that he was gonna fall asleep in before his fight with Brutus. He just like kind of rolls out his bedroll in a corner and plops his head onto his bag.
Rowena goes for the downstairs bed and then like stops short, shakes her head, and goes and camps out in the backyard on her bedroll.
Sounds good.
Like HJ also, as he's kind of like going up to the loft, is like, wait, maybe, and is gonna go scouting in the kitchen to see if there's any exploding corn.
There is actually a plethora of exploding corn. And you can see one has been salted, one has been peppered, one has been salted and peppered, and then one is just covered in something that's red.
And I grab all four, probably like stacking 2 and 2, and like walk back up to the loft with all 4 of these bowls. And I just like, as I'm passing Cass, it's like, you want some corn?
Cass, you notice that Cass is like leaning on one side, but also like writing in a book, and he looks at you and he goes, "No."
And it's really good. And I just like grab a handful and just like throw it at Cass as I walk by.
Rowena will pop back into the kitchen once more, probably once she thinks the guys are asleep. She will throw a load of cookies in the oven.
Sounds good.
Since we didn't use our meat pies today.
The junk food purge goes on. Notes are taken. Cookies are made. Sleep falls quickly. It's a nice peaceful rest. You're all back together. It's a little bit more of a wholesome. And then morning comes just as quick as sleep seemed to fall. You can hear clattering back in the forge. The very sunken in spot of the chair is empty now as Pritchell is just going back and forth with things and is just like, yep, stick around if you want. I've got this, and I got to do that, and then I got to do, and just starts listing off all of these steps of what she needs to do, and is more so for her than it seems like for your understanding of it. And you're able to kind of just saddle up your horses and start making your way back out of these homesteads that it seems people tend to work on, and you pass by houses and ranches and working class folk that really need the space to build these things. You make your way past Bastellan in the morning, and you're out on the road, and you get about 2 hours outside of town before you see a cart with no horses and a family of 4. And Rowena, you'd actually recognize these. These were some farmers that used to live down the road from you. Nice folk. You did hear they were trying to sell their place as of like a month ago. But they're out here, they're on the road, they flag you down. Any chance you're going to Fallen Scale?
As happenstance would have it, we are headed that direction.
We recently sold our place, got some horses, threw everything we own in this wagon, and headed on out of town. And a couple of guys seemed to be being chased, jumped on our horses, cut them free, rode off, and then a group of people chased after them. So we've been stranded here for the night.
What'd they look
Any
like?
Chance we could pay you to get us to Fallen Scale? Oh, what did they look like?
Yeah.
2 guys in front. They had scarves wrapped around them, wore a bunch of black, came just barreling out of nowhere, jumped on the horses, people chasing them, a couple of humans, a couple of orcs, a couple of elves, seemed to be foot patrol from Bastellan. They never came back. This was about 8 hours ago. Well, no, we slept more than 8 hours ago. 12 hours ago?
Yeah.
I know it's not keen to travel in large groups, but we're still under double digits. It's just the 4 of us, and I assume the 3 of you. You're not meeting up with any more people, are you?
Not yet, but given our track record, who knows?
Please, we would love just if we could, walk with you. Really, we just need to get this stuff. I mean, this is our livelihood here. We would turn around, but I sold the property recently. We were gonna relocate to Fallen Scale. You just get a bit more turnaround for the stuff you grow down there, because not a lot of stuff grows, but the stuff that does sells well. So we were hoping to make a step up, and then our horses were stolen.
Right, yeah. Rowena will just kind of turn to Cass and kind of give him the eyebrow of, do we?
Cass looks down at his coin purse that is now full of the coins from the watch, and kind of like sort of half turns the horse so that he's like speaking just privately to Rowena, and he goes, "How's your gold looking?"
Fine. Not great. Haven't really done much business in the last few months. Just
And
a
then-
little bit, but
And then he kind of looks up at HJ and nods at him, like, and points at his coin purse, like, do we need this?
HJ kind of like jumps over. Look, let's just give him a hand. Like,
which
I
kind of hand? The kind of hand where we hitch our horses to their wagon, or the kind where we pay them to not ask questions?
look, let's just take them. Why wouldn't we? They're people who need help.
It's a family of 4, you said, right, Bonk?
It's a family of 4. You've crossed paths with them
Yeah.
before. I mean, they're not.
How
like,
old are the kids?
kids are going to be randomly determined from these 2d12 that I'm rolling.
Great.
4 and 1. So the mom is
Yeah.
carrying the 1-year-old.
So,
Ca-
small BB and toddler. Great.
Cass leans into HJ and says, This is your task. This is your mission. You need to decide if this is going to be a danger to that or not."
Look, just getting them to Fallen Scale and then going on our way isn't going to stop us. Look, like, I just feel like that if we leave them, I'm just like turning into the person that I'm trying to leave behind. Look,
Cass, sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I didn't have anything else. That was it.
Oh, sorry. Cass turns the horse around while HJ is saying that, and like looks to the mother and with the kid and says, "Before we start moving, do you have any questions for us?"
Thought of it was really just hoping for a lift. What are your names? Is probably a good start.
I'm Cassilian. That's Rowena, and that's Hunted Jewel.
It's nice to meet all of you. I'm Abram. This is my family. If you can help, please. I mean, travelers are few and far between, but
We'll take you, Abram, but there's no more questions after this set of questions, regardless of what you see or hear.
I am fine with that.
Rowena has already gotten off a farrier and has started hitching him to the wagon.
I'll do the same with Brutus.
Yeah, 2 is really all you need. You could do a 3rd if you want to speed up travel.
I'll hitch up rental.
I guess my question is, if we hitch all 3 horses to the wagon, are we going to have to walk, or can all 7 of us ride in the wagon?
You could fit 6 in the wagon, and if someone wants to ride the lead horse, that would work.
HJ will walk. He doesn't care.
That
I mean,
works too.
I figure with kids that small, there's also a degree of if 2 people carry them, they kind of don't count. So
Yeah. The family 4 easily. There is room for 2 of you, but maybe not all 3 of you at a time. They'll need room to change the baby and things like that.
No, HJ will walk alongside.
For the start of this adventure with the carriage, Cass will walk alongside HJ.
And Rowena will essentially take driver's seat so that she's out of the way of the family.
Great. Yeah, and they're able to just go in. They're super elated, very thankful. They do timidly ask, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't mean. What would you like for your fee? I know you said no more questions. I have a spare.
You know what? No more questions, and you never saw us once we drop you off. How's that?
Excellent. Fine with me. And we'll kind of just pop back up into the cart and just kind of hoist his family up together, and like they do like a little prayer together. But yeah, their wagon, now that you see into it, chock full of farming gear, farming equipment. Looks like they've got like crates of seed starter, all sorts of things to kind of start a new homestead. But yeah, they make their way back on your journey now. It's a couple more hours go along. You do come up to the crossroads that south to Fallen Scale, straight on towards City of Knowledge. You know that you need to make that turn, and at the crossroads there's a similar encampment to Aria. It's not that the T goes all the way through town. It's situated at the top of the T that this crossroad makes. So it would be kind of a diversion to go through. There is kind of just like two militia people with like pikes that kind of like wave at you and just kind of see you on your way if you want to, but are also happy to engage if need be, or if you want to pull off here. It's only been about half day's worth of travel. You could probably get to Fallen Scale either just after sundown at this pace.
I think with extra people, Rowena's going to be of the mind to try to push through because she wants to offload them safely as quickly as possible.
Excellent. Yeah, you push on through. The guards give you like that nice little wave and may the fates be with you, praise the 11 type of thing as you pass on by, and they go back to chatting with each other. They pull out like a leather bag and start kicking it back and forth to each other. But yeah, you continue on. It's well past mid-afternoon, and you can see as kind of the terrain starts to shift. You've had plains on one side, tall grasses on the other, and you kind of come through these rolling hills, and everything just starts to dry up. It gets into those dry lands. Cracks can be seen throughout the dirt that doesn't really have much other than patches here and there of grasses. You even see like sand and tumbleweed starting to go through, and it even starts to feel a little bit warmer. And about an hour into this, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you come across 2 more people. They are one seems to have a broken leg that's been splinted and has their arm around another person, and they're just walking along headed south. And as you pass them, they like kind of like whisper and mumble to each other, and like puts down the one with the broken leg, and has them sit on kind of like a rock near the road. And the other one kind of like waves you down. Any chance we might be able to get a lift to Fallen Scale?
At this point,
You all seem
Cass looks up to Rowena and walks over to her in the driver's seat and just kind of like whispers like, what is the deal with everybody needing a ride to Fallen Scale?
I don't know. I don't. She'll kind of look at him, and then she'll kind of turn back and be like, You come from Fallen Scale, or is this your first time headed there?
Oh, no, we come from Fallen Scale. We kind of went out on like a stag party, up to the crossroads. Just something different, something a little easier, breathe a little better, safe ways. We woke up on this road yesterday. He has a broken leg. I don't remember really much of the night, but we know if we head south, we'll get home. So we're heading south.
I would like
We got
to
kinda separated
insight
from
check them.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna go over and like lean into HJ once this is done. not like lean into him, like be mad, but I mean like kind of lean up on him and like to talk to him.
Yeah, snuggle up on his shoulder.
Yeah.
I get it. What'd you
get? 23.
Dude seems real sunburnt.
Okay.
Dude seems real honest and looks like he is struggling. He is out of breath. He kind of smells like alcohol as well as sweat. He's been in these clothes for maybe 3 days.
Just like to check, because we did hear about 2 horse thieves running off.
Mm-hmm,
so, even before, like, Cass, go ahead and have your interaction with AJ, but I think even before that completes, Rowena is just gonna, like, sigh very deeply, and she will hop off and kind of, like, let the family know, like, we're bringing a couple of others, and, like, get them situated, like, sitting on the tailgate of the wagon. So, like, keeping separation still, but, like, okay, fine.
Cass goes over to HJ and is like, hey, you know, I don't know how to teach anybody how to be a leader, but we have to start making quick decisions about these people when we drop them off, making sure everyone here is safe. These guys look suspicious to you?
Well, I mean, I know that the family said that 2 people robbed them, so I'm hoping that it's not these 2 people. But like, I'm confident that I could beat the shit out of both of those guys combined.
You look over at him and you're like, yeah, any of us could. Baby might be able to take him.
Cass, like, this brings a big smile to Cass's face, and he looks at AJ and he's like, HJ, excuse me, and he goes, so what is it that you hate?
Liars.
And he goes, I think you're pretty far away from being a liar, kid.
Thanks.
And he Cass again just sort of like, you know, gestures his arm in a big way to say, you know, take the lead. And he kind of says like, you know, I'll follow you. You just let me know what you need.
To Fallen Scale. And HJ kind of like jogs forward a little bit.
Yeah, you're able to get the guy with like the broken leg like up on his feet and get him set up kind of in the back. The mom of the family kind of like offers him a sprig of like lavender, and he like just grabs it immediately and like tucks it in his shirt and like spreads it around and stuff and like tries to like give them as much room as he can, but he's so excited to get his leg elevated and goes to sleep almost immediately. And the other guy's like, I'm happy to walk. I'll walk back here. And he's like, I'll be downwind. And is able to walk, like drinks up a ton of water that's offered to him. Just basically drowns it. And the family's like, no, go ahead and hang on to that. You're fine. But yeah, you're off and on again. You've hit that road quite well. And you come through these winding roads and you start seeing the areas around you start to elevate. You've got like spires of rocks starting to form that keep getting taller and taller, and then like as you come around a corner, what you thought was a small hill you realize actually comes down and was a cliffside, and there's like a giant canyon off to your left, and now there's more of these tall spires, and you start seeing the startings of a plateau that you would recognize. Not the plateau, but you're like, this is the land.
We're getting close.
Yeah. We're getting closer. These are smaller versions of kind of what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the terrain. It's dry. It's cracked. There's sands here and there. There's tumbleweed. There's, cactuses starting to pop up here and there. More taller ones, not these round ball cactuses that you've been obsessed with now for a few days, few weeks. And yeah, you continue to make your way, and it's about 5 or 6 miles on the horizon. The sun's set about 2 hours now. You've been able to push through, but you can see a faint glow of the city coming up, and you're maybe an hour out of town. It's probably like 3 miles out. You can see this nice glow, but you can also hear a band playing. They've got some like instruments that are coming around, and it is just this catchy tune, and all of you instantly recognize it. You're like, oh shit, man, this is the fucking Crickets. This is like that band that swept through the North like 30 years ago. Much more your parents' music, but like fucking Crickets are coming through. Like, damn, they're on tour. They probably just played a show down there. Like, you recognize it. And like, you're like the dad and the mom start singing to the kids, and everyone gets like that like toe tapping, and everyone's like kind of excited about this.
Did like their
Like,
later
oh.
albums get a little psychedelic?
A little bit, maybe just a little bit.
Rowena is just stone cold. This was her dad's favorite band, and she did not have a good relationship with him, so she's just like, okay.
Yep. Yeah, but like you can hear them coming about, and it's as you hear them coming closer, you can also see that like weird fluctuation those roads have. You've seen it, how like it helps you move faster, but it's got like that weird like little ripple that you've only ever seen from like bigger people like moving, and it kind of like seems to come and like meet at the meeting point where you and this group of bards come and like meet up to each other and about to pass each other. You kind of look around and you're like, oh, we've collected quite the crew of people. You've got 9 of you coming across.
Oops.
What is 6 people coming the opposite way, and you see this ripple kind of like come through and like a bounce back, and then you both kind of come up and see each other, and everyone kind of does that count of like, oh, there's like 15 of us here now. And there's just like this howl as like 2 wolves just come running through and like snap at the heels of your horses and just keep running on through as they go by, and you can just feel the ground shake a little bit, and like the pebbles on the road like begin to just kind of like pop off to the sides, and like the music stops and everyone kind of peeks their head out, and then it gets real quiet.
We should all keep going our separate ways. I think we think we should keep going right now.
Yep. As fast as we possibly can.
Cass makes a point to like jump onto the cart so that he's not left behind or is like slowed down. I think my movement speed is the worst. So
yeah, and the band just kind of like looks up at you. It's 2 dwarves, it's 4 elves, and they kind of like look up at you, and they're all on horseback. They've got like a small carriage and an extra horse. And they all kind of just look up to you and you're like, yeah, right. And you all start trying to like go for the pass. They're going on to the outside. You're taking the middle part, and you get to about 30 feet to each other. And then a 20-foot pit just kind of sinks into the ground. And these fucking like dog raptor headed creatures with like crab legs come scurrying out and have like all these little spines, and they all just make this like horrendous reach, and you can see like 200 or 300 feet off the side from one of those like big standing plateaus, a like 10-foot tall version like crashes out of one of the walls and also gives like a screech. And there are like 4 or 5 of these creatures now just in the middle of both of your groups, screeching to the rising moon. Horses are freaking out. Baby starts crying. The band gets all wide-eyed. You can hear like some horns like